video, I'm gonna show you how I made over $2 million in a single talk. I want to know, what would you sell if you weren't in survival mode? Do not think that you need to feel aligned to take aligned action. We are needed right now more than ever. Experts like you are needed right now.
Energy high, excuses low. Energy high, excuses low. Energy high, excuses low. Energy.
In this video, I'm gonna show you how I made over $2 million in a single talk, y'all. Literally a single talk. And I want to show you exactly how I did it because I've never actually done a video on this before, nor revealed these strategies publicly, but this is going to be a good one. It's like one of those videos where you'll want to take out your notepad, your pen, your paper. So any expert in the world who wants to sell services, you should be using the strategy I'm going to talk about in this talk. I'm literally going to reveal what it takes to do what I did on that day and how you too can do it. And then I'm going to give all my YouTube viewers a special invite that'll help you build your own $1 million talk. You ready? Let's dig in. Hey guys, it's Ashley Kirkwood from the Speak Your Way to Cash podcast, and this is a special episode. Literally, we're dropping it on a Friday at noon because it's a special kind of episode. I've been getting DMs from y'all saying like, Ashley, I don't want to sell to corporate. I love what you do, but like I sell services. Do you have anything for us? Or Ashley, I've been pitching for talks and they're not really hiring me yet, so I don't have a lot of videos of me speaking. Or Ashley, I made $20,000 speaking for a corporation, but I don't actually enjoy the work. What I really want to do is help women to believe in themselves more. Or what I really want to do is sell more of my accounting services. Or what I really want to do is sell more of the services for my business. Or what I really want to do is coach other people. Or what I really want to do is, okay, stop. First of all, I want to know, what would you sell if you weren't in survival mode? What would you sell if literally anything was possible? What would you sell if you sold the thing that was in your heart? Now, I want to caveat with this. I do not believe that you all should sell stuff solely for money if it like crushes your soul. That's not what I do. I actually have a business that I very much love. I have a business that I actually adore, and I'm selling services that I believe in so very much. Like I can't even put into words how much I believe in it. But I want to tell you how I made over $2 million from a single talk. I haven't talked about this on YouTube yet. I don't know why, but I feel like I've talked about it in other places. But now we're gonna talk about it in YouTube. I gave what I call a conversion talk. Now first, what type of business owner needs a conversion talk? Any business owner that sells a set product that could be sold to a group of people all at one time. You need a conversion talk. Any business that can sell your product in bulk to a group of people at one time should have a conversion talk. Now, there's a difference between a keynote speech, a signature speech, and a conversion talk. If you look up the conversion talk in the USPTO database, it's something that we own. It's a registered trademark of ours because we needed a way to describe a talk that when your ideal customer hears it, they are influenced to buy from you, which is why it's called a conversion talk. After they hear this talk, they should convert to being paying customers. You need this kind of talk. Many people are doing live videos, reels, webinars, summits, challenges, hosting their own events, and they're not giving a conversion talk. They teaching, which is good. That's not the same as giving a conversion talk. You want to actually give a talk that will influence your ideal customers to buy, and it will dissuade, not persuade, dissuade, mean distance you from the wrong people buying. So we're gonna talk a little bit about my first experience giving one of these talks, how I came to discover this framework, and why you need to build a conversion talk and some of the building blocks that you can start building it. I'm gonna teach you how to build the entire thing in less than a couple of days at Speak Your Way to Cash Live. And if you already have your ticket to Speak Your Way to Cash Live and you're watching this, please just drop "I'm coming" in the comments. I cannot wait to hang out with you. It's October 2nd to the 4th in Atlanta, Georgia, 2025, and it's going to be an incredible event. Like, it's going to be a mind-blowing event that's literally going to show you how to scale your expert business in 3 days or less. So first off, how did I discover this? Now, y'all, I have been going to events for a really long time. I've been to birthday parties, I've been to webinars, I've been to summits, I've been to business conferences, but in 2018, I went to a conference, and it was a business conference, and I was just learning. I was having a good time, and at the end of the conference, or maybe like midway through the conference on day 2, the guy who was hosting the conference got up and he delivered a talk. And during his talk, he actually asked us to buy an offer that was $15,000. And I remember sitting in my seat and I was crying, tears of joy, because I wanted to buy this offer so bad. Literally everything in my business needed this particular offer. And I'm just like crying tears of joy. I'm like, this is so great. This is everything I needed. This is like my starter kit. I'm so excited. Now, mind you, I'm crying about this $15,000 offer. One, I'm crying tears because I'm like, yo, I really need this. But two, I'm crying tears because I'm like, yo, this is so expensive. I don't know how I'm gonna convince my husband to let me buy this thing. Now, this is back in the day. At the time, I think I was selling like $2,000 trademarks. Now, I literally charge $50,000 for a 4-hour VIP day with me in person in Atlanta, Georgia. In fact, we have one left for the year, so if that's you, comment below. But at this point, I'm charging tens of thousands of dollars per hour. I don't have any consulting that's like less than that rate. Like I don't even do one-on-one calls for like $1,000. I don't do any of that. It's 50 grand or bust for the most part. And so that's now. But back then, oh no, I'm selling $2,000 trademarks. I'm doing Instagram videos and Facebook posts to get them sold. And I'm like, I gotta figure out how to grow this business. And what I'm doing now is working to a point. So I'm making like 6 figures at this point. And I was just so excited that he made the offer. I ended up calling my husband and I was like, yeah, babe, I'm at this event and I just heard this offer and I just want to buy this thing and I'm just so excited about it. And my husband's like, babe, I can't even understand what you're saying, okay? And so he goes, just talk to me about it when you get home. And I'm like, but when I get home, the price is gonna increase. Because what he told us is if I didn't buy this $15,000 program, the price was gonna go up. And I'm like, dang, okay, so I need to make a decision quick. And what was even more impressive was that I saw droves of people, like dozens of people running to the back of the room to buy this offer. And I'm like, everyone else seems to understand that this is a great deal. I should do this too. Now, this event took place, I think 3 weeks before I was hosting my own event at Speak Your Way to Cash Live. And at this time, this was gonna be my second Speak Your Way to Cash Live event. My first one happened, this must have happened in 2019 because my first Speak Your Way to Cash Live event was in 2019. So this was gonna be my second Speak Your Way to Cash Live event. It was a few weeks after this event that I attended where the guy made an offer. And I asked myself, Ashley, at your first Speak Your Way to Cash Live event, it was 10 people there. Y'all, we're gonna have 500 people at our event coming up this year. But there was 10 people at our first event and we'll add in a picture of our first event so you all can see me and the 10 people. And I didn't sell them anything. Outside of the event ticket, I didn't sell anything. I just was like, okay, that's it. But after the event, everyone kept being in my DMs like, hey, can you help me with this? Hey, can you answer this question? Hey, can you do this? Hey, can you do that? Hey, can you do that? And I couldn't do it because I didn't have time. Like I'm still working my business. And I had a whole law firm at this point. So I was like, Ashley, what if you made an offer at the event? And then it hit me. I was thrilled that this man was selling me something. Like I was crying tears of joy because I needed it. And then I began to think, okay, why don't you go in your DMs, look at all the questions people asked you after your last event, and then come up with a program that answers all of those questions, and more importantly than the information, come up with resources where they won't just get the education, but you'll also help them with their pitches and their proposals, and you could just give them yours because you already have pitches that have made you hundreds of thousands of dollars. You already have proposals that have been accepted for 5 and 6 figures. So why not just share all of that knowledge? And then you're a lawyer. Why not give them contract templates and other things that they need? And so why don't you put together an offer? And make it a standardized offer, because to that point in doing law, I was doing one-on-one sales calls with everyone, and everyone was kind of getting a different solution. I hadn't standardized all of my offers. Now, what we call that is productizing your offer. So the first thing that you're gonna need to do in order to build your conversion talk is you need to have a prerequisite for your conversion talk is having a productized offer. An offer that is put together to answer the questions that the consumer needs to get the result. Now, here's the thing. I want you to think about the result that your people want. Like a lot of our people, they are in one of two camps. They want to scale their companies to $1 million, but they all sell services or more. Some of our clients who are already over $1 million, they're like, okay, I want to do 5, I want to do 10, that's fine. So 7 or 8 figures, or that's one category. The other category is I just want to get a 5 or 6 figure contract. So there are 2 separate paths that we have taken in our own business. One path to hit over $1 million in revenue, multiple millions of dollars in revenue, and another path to land our first or next 5 or 6 figure contract. So the first thing you want to write out is what are all of the steps that someone needs in order to either make the $1 million business in our case or build or land their first 5 and 6 figure contract. And there are steps. One of our frameworks is called target, topic, pitch. So we know you need the right target, the right topic, the right pitch. Within that, what are all the things you should do to identify a wealthy audience? So if you don't have a framework, I talk about this a lot in the Speak Your Way to Cash book. You can buy it below. We always link our shop. Go get a book from the shop. Shout out to those of you who get merch and other stuff. Shout out to you. If you bought a merch or some hoodies or something and you liked it, just comment merch below so I can thank you. But you want to figure out, okay, if you have a framework, which is just your formula for success, what are all of the mini frameworks that they need to master in order to achieve that particular part of your framework? Does that make sense? So like, target, topic, pitch. In order to find your wealthy audience, the first thing that you're going to need to do is do market research. There's 3 ways you could do market research. 1, you can look at publicly available data. 2, you can do phone calls with people who could be your potential client and ask them very targeted questions about how they're going to, what they're currently doing to get the result that you provide at your company. 3rd, you could do a survey. So maybe they won't get on the phone with you, but you can just have a survey for them, right? And so each of the modules will cover one piece of that. Then it would cover how to identify audiences that don't have a budget. And then instead of just giving information, we also want to give tools. So maybe we give a script for doing your market research calls. We give a script for doing the LinkedIn outreach. We give tools and a list of HR directors for companies that they could go to and do market research with right away. So what are all the things they need? How can we remove all the barriers of resistance that exist to helping to get them into action? What AI tools can we coordinate? With our new mastermind portal, we're actually building out AI for every single module that we're giving them in our mastermind portal 2.0. So that's one, right? You map out your offer. Lots of stuff on offer. One of the things we're doing at Speak Your Way to Cash Live, guys, is we are actually going to teach you how to build out your offer, because I had a client that came to me and she literally was like, Ashley, I just sold my first $25,000 corporate offer and I developed that offer using the AI tools that you gave us to develop an offer. And she was like, I'd never had a North Star offer before. So we're going to teach you our North Star offer framework at Speak Your Way to Cash Live. So make sure you get your ticket. Then you go on to, after you have your offer, and you're going to go through each part of your framework and build out sub offers or sub frameworks that they need to actually get that result. You got your offer, it's standardized. Then you're going to want to develop, you got your offer, you're going to want to develop your pre-pitch. Now, here's the thing. When you are going to sell something, there is a certain person that's your ideal buyer. That person is broken down into 3 parts: what they think, what they believe, what they do, okay? You need to understand how your ideal audience thinks, what they believe, and what they do. And what you really want to understand is what are the differences between your audience and your ideal buyer. This is critically important because I believe you can create buyers. How do you create buyers, Ashley? Well, you help them to think bigger, better, and differently about where they're at. You need to give them a new lens by which to see the world they exist in. If you do that, they'll be more likely to utilize your lens in making decisions about whether or not they should work with you. Otherwise, you trust that they're already your ideal target and they're just gonna buy based off what they have. So what does that look like? I wanna figure out I would get out a piece of paper. And on one side of that paper, I would list out my audience. What are all the things they're thinking right now as it relates to your results? So for us, they're thinking, oh my God, I have this corporate job. I'm making 6 figures. I cannot leave that job. I don't think my husband will support me being a full-time entrepreneur. We got bills. Our kids are in private school. I have one kid that's in college. They're thinking, I don't know if I have time for this. I already work a very demanding job. I can only really work my business at nights and on weekends. This seems like it's gonna be too much work. They're thinking, I have a lot of expertise, but am I really an expert? I went to school all this time. I don't know if this will really work for me. They're thinking, maybe I should just be grateful. I feel like I'm a Christian and I'm just like always going for more. Maybe I should just be content. Isn't that what the Bible would want me to do? They're thinking like, what are all the things they're thinking? What are they believing? What are they believing? They're believing it might be too late because they're already over 50 and they haven't really been able to grow their business. They're believing, I've already tried that before and it didn't work. They think that what you're telling them to do is something that's the same old, it's not something new. They're believing that they may have missed the boat. They're believing that the market is too crowded. They're believing, like, what are all the things they're believing that could be stopping them from moving forward in their business? And then what are they doing? Well, they're consuming more content than they create. They're putting out posts, but they're not getting a response. They're talking to their friends more than they are studying their craft. Like, what are they doing? These are not your ideal buyers. These are the people that are in your audience. But these are the people that can become your ideal audience if they thought differently, believed differently, and did differently. So you want to make sure that in your pre-pitch, which just means this is your pre-talk, this is before you get to asking anyone for any money, this is what you're going to say in order to help them to think differently, believe differently, do differently. Even better if you can get them doing differently right then and there. And how do you do that? You give them micro challenges that build commitment. What does a micro challenge look like? If I teach pitching and I can get people to pitch right then and there, and I can get them to see that by the time my master class ends, they've already gotten a response, oh, they're doing differently. And because it was a small task, their belief is building. So sometimes we think that belief is built from the top down. Like, if I think differently, I'll believe differently and I'll do differently. But sometimes belief is built from the floor up. Meaning, if I just do it before I even believe it, if I just do it even though I still feel a little bit fearful, if I just do it even though my beliefs aren't totally aligned with what I want, my belief can build from the ground up. It can build from my feet up. So if I can just get people to do more, they'll start believing differently and building differently, and they'll start to become a different person. How do you really change your life? You change your life by feeling all of the doubt, feeling all of the fear, and then taking a different action anyways. Are y'all hearing me? Do not think that you need to feel aligned to take aligned action. If you just start taking more action, you will then tell yourself, because your brain is really there to protect you. It's nothing wrong with you. You're not a bad person because you don't have this massive amount of faith or this massive amount of belief. You're not a bad person. But what's happening is you're waiting for your mind to tell your feet what to do. Sometimes you just gotta move your feet a little bit, and then what happens is your belief builds a little bit, and then the more action you take, the more you don't even have to think about it because it becomes second nature. If you want to build a new habit, start doing what the new habit tells you to do, even when you don't feel like it. Something I heard Alex Hermosi say that I really liked. I don't agree with everything he says. This is something I really liked. He said, a sign of intelligence is one's ability to delay gratification. A lot of us want to feel aligned before we take action because we don't want to delay gratification. That's why when we put up a post 2-3 minutes later, if you're anything like me, you may check it to see if it got any likes because that gives you a little hit of dopamine. But the problem is if you don't train your brain that, baby, we can withstand the gap. We can withstand the period between action and results, then you'll never be able to build anything substantial because substantiality requires a gap. Okay, it requires a gap. So you got to build a talk. This talk is not your conversion talk. This is your pre-talk. Think of it as your prep talk. This is, what am I going to say at the beginning of my talk? Or if you're doing a multi-day event, what is going to be my opening session to get my people thinking differently, believing differently, and doing differently? What am I going to get them to do in that first hour? What if it's a webinar? What am I going to get them to do in the first 30 minutes? What am I going to get them to do to start believing differently? What am I going to get them to think? How do you build a case for them thinking differently? Now, I'm going to teach you how to sell like a lawyer, a good one. Okay? Now, many of you know this, some of you don't, but I left a $300,000 corporate job. Wow. Okay? And in leaving that $300,000 job, what I was doing at the time was I was a trial lawyer. I was a trial lawyer at one of the best firms in the world. And one of the things that I loved about what we did is we wouldn't just deliver a case. We would spend years, sometimes even decades. Some of the cases that firm had worked on before I had even gotten there. And it was still happening because it takes time to build a good case. One of the issues I see with people is they're just going into these webinars, they're going into these events, they're going into this stuff. I literally was at a big event, won't even say the name of the event, y'all probably could guess. But they were trying to sell something at the event and they came out and for 15 minutes had the host put up this course thing and were like, All right, so y'all should buy this course. It's only $99, you know, da-da-da-da. And I'm just like, oh no, baby. Where is the pre-pitch? Where is the conversion talk? Where did you build the case for this product? Every time you get on a webinar, every time you get up to do a speech, you are building a case, just like a lawyer. And when you build a case, there's a couple of things you do. First, you get evidence. You need evidence that what you're selling works. Evidence can be testimonials. Evidence can be industry data. Evidence can be your own story. You can be proof that it works. Like, you all are watching this video right now because I'm telling you, I made over $2.6 million from over the span of 2 conversion talks, but $2 million in one talk. What? So I'm saying that because that's proof. That's why you're like, okay, maybe I should listen to her because that's a lot of money in a talk. To put it in perspective, the average president making $150,000, $250,000 to talk, they typically ain't getting $2 million to talk. So I made more than an average president in a speech because of the way it was structured. But the way that I came up with the structure for my talks, before I even knew about people like Russell Brunson or Alex Hormozy or any of these big internet marketer guys, what I knew was trial law. What I knew was that when I went in a courtroom, I was building a case. And what I knew was that the first part of it is I have to get my evidence. After you have your evidence, then, because you need your core pieces of evidence, then I think about, okay, I got my evidence, so what's next? What's my theory of the case? Now, a theory of the case is, why do I think the jury should believe my facts and ignore the other side's facts? If you are an expert, you want people to believe your theory of the sale, not theory of the case, baby, follow me. Theory of the sale. What is your theory of the sale? Why should they work with you in light of all the evidence you've gathered and negate and totally ignore everybody else on the market? What is your theory of the sale? Your theory of the sale is going to be, I believe people should work with me despite and literally ignore every other competitor in the market, because when you work with me, when you work with Speak Your Way to Cash, you don't just get a coach, you actually get a licensed professional. I am going to teach you with our proprietary frameworks how to outsell fake experts, how to outsell the top people in your industry, and how to do it in a way that won't cost you your license, your integrity, or your sleep at night. And on top of that, I'm gonna do it in style. And on top of that, I'm going to do it with hard-fought strategies that I earned, not bought. You see what I'm saying? I didn't inherit my business. I built it from the ground up. And my style is unlike anyone else's. The way I think is unlike anyone else. And so you're not going to be able to get exactly how we do it, our frameworks, anywhere else on the planet. How many other coaches have worked at top law firms and can even show you the behind-the-scenes strategies? A lot of what we learned as trial lawyers at the top firms, they brought in trainers to train us on sales psychology. Hello, they have people, and one of my jobs in the courtroom was to be the person who looked at the jury, and I would look at their facial expressions and I'd be like, no, we should strike them. No, we should keep them. I think she likes you. Look at her longer when you do your opening. Oh, he's not feeling you. Look away from him. Empower her. I think she's going to be the one who's going to get all the other jurors on our side. Like, she's going to be the foreman. Like that was my job. So I know how to read people. I did cross-examination, direct examination, and all of that was built and written by hand. This is before AI, y'all, okay? By hand, because I understand human psychology and social science. So I'm gonna teach you how to leverage those things for your benefit ethically, because we all got licenses to protect. So you're gonna come up with your pre-talk. This pre-talk is going to cover where they're at, where they could be. Your job in your pre-pitch is to build belief. This can be a standalone talk. It could be if you're doing a 3-day event, it could be a standalone talk at the beginning of your event. If you are doing a webinar or a masterclass, it could be the first 20 minutes. Build their belief. And you're starting from the very beginning of the time that you're with them, even beforehand, to build the case for them working with you. And here's why this is critically important. This is almost like your moral obligation. It's your moral obligation to build a case. Because let me tell you why. There's so much noise on the market. If you don't do a good job at building that case, they won't trust you and they'll just go work with someone else, all right? So you gotta do your pre-pitch. So we talked about having your offer. We talked about a little bit about what the pre-pitch is. Then you're gonna build your conversion talk. This is going to be the talk where you are going to actually convert them during the talk. Now let me help some of y'all out. Many of y'all are like, okay, buy my offer by Monday. Buy my offer whenever. I don't know, next year, next decade, doesn't matter. No. You want to have a time period where you induce them to buy your offer. Now, this needs to be ethically done. So don't say, buy my offer for, $20,000 now, but then tomorrow it's going up, and then tomorrow it's still $20,000. Don't do that, right? So if it's gonna go up, make it go up. Or you could do an expiring bonus. You could be like, hey, if you buy by today, you get this, and then tomorrow, they don't get it. You know what I mean? So there's lots of different ways that you can do it, but you want to build your conversion talk. Now, your conversion talk, and I have a book coming out called Millions from the Stage. It'll actually teach you more about this, but your conversion talk means that, think of it as a house. If you're trying to sell a house and you're staging that house, everything in that house should be set up to sell that house. You wouldn't want to have like a pile of dirty clothes in the middle of the house. So when you're building your conversion talk, you are literally building the outline for a talk that is set up to convert. And at the end of that talk, you're going to actually tell them what are the core elements of what they're getting. What are the 4 big things they get when they buy your offer? And then you may come up with like 3 to 5 bonuses that you give them additionally. And then you want to give them a reason to buy now. Typically, we like to break this down in 3 different ways. We want to incentivize the first person to buy. We want to incentivize the first 5 to 10 people to buy. And then we want to incentivize everyone who buys that day by midnight. Okay? So those are 3 buckets of incentives, meaning the first person gets something different than the first 15. The people that buy by midnight get something different than the people who buy on previous days. Now, if you have an incentive, a reason for people to buy something, they're more likely to buy. There's a book called Rejection Proof. And one of the things that they found in this book was that if you give people a reason for why you're doing something, they're like, I don't remember exactly what it was, but they are multiple times more likely to actually do that thing. And the example they gave was, hey, can I cut you in line? I have to get my clothes washed early. If it's a line for the laundromat, everybody there got to get their clothes washed. But just by adding that one little because, it made people move, which means your customers, that's just human psychology. So your customers are the same way. You need to give them a reason to move. Make it a real reason, an ethical reason, a true reason, but make it a reason to move, right? And so you want to think about that. But the really big piece about this talk is you want to build in evidence at every single turn. Everything you say, people are questioning. And the questioning goes up when you ask for money. Now, one of the things we like to do when we're doing conversion talks is we like to actually infuse humor into our conversion talks, because we don't want people to be in front of us like, we want you laughing, having a good time, because I want you to actually hear what I'm saying to you. And I like to add invitations, and I like to add closed doors. So I'm constantly saying who this is for, who this is not for. Like if you are someone who's constantly thinking A, B, C, and D, you may not be ready for this right now. Does that make sense? So I'm not afraid of people not buying. And I want to talk to you a little bit about energetically. So when I did this $2.6 million talk, it was at Speak Get Ready Cash Live in 2022. I got up there, I released our mastermind for the first time ever. We had over 65 people, I think maybe a few more, that joined this program, anywhere from $35,000 to $56,000 at one time in the room. I could not believe it. I did not expect it, but I had prepared for it a lot. I had read a lot, I'd studied a lot, I'd thought about like what were my most successful trials, I'd thought about when we were building evidence, what did we do? We always use props, we had visualizations, that's why I use so many props in my speeches, because when I was doing trial work, we always had really good props. I remember cross-examining a doctor at one point, and I wanted him to admit to me that this was the medical issue that we were suing on behalf of was one that they could have found just by touching our client. And my whole theory of the case at the time was they didn't even touch him. That's why they didn't catch this issue, which exasperated into a really big injury for him. So I literally stayed up all night before this particular cross-examination, and I watched Achilles tendon surgeries on YouTube, y'all. All night, because I knew I was cross-examining a medical doctor. And I had this picture blown up and put on the stage, and I'm like, and I remember thinking that this doctor, it was an older white guy, and I'm like, yo, he is not going to want to he's not going to want to admit that this young black girl knows more than him on the stand. So I was like, I can almost definitely get this man to like lie on the stand. And I was right. Okay? And so I show him this picture, I go up to the picture, and I'm like, yeah, but then, I'm not a lawyer. I mean, I'm not a doctor, so just help me out. I only went to law school, not medical school, and I'm pretty young. Maybe you can help me out with this. But like, if someone has like torn their tendon, like, you see this picture? Is this a pretty accurate depiction of what it looks like when you tear a tendon? Like, I went through it bit by bit by bit, baby. And when he even seemed to flinch, I dug in. And that's how you need to be in your conversion talks. Not like, coming at them like that, but giving them examples, giving them proof, giving them visualizations, giving them data, giving them evidence, using things they already know about to prove to them that thought process does not work. I'll give you an example. I work with a lot of Christians. I'm sure a lot of you who watch this are Christians, right? And I love that. I love God. I love the Holy Spirit, right? Disclaimer. One of the things I would hear all the time from my Christian entrepreneurs is like, oh, I'm just waiting on God. And I'd be like, oh, great. What are you going to do while you wait? Because isn't it true that you could be like waiting on your car to get service at Penske or some car servicing place, and while you're waiting on that car to get service, you can go to Starbucks and get coffee. You can go here and do this. You can go there and do that. So waiting does not mean still all the time. Is that true? They're not synonyms, right? Waiting and still are not synonyms. So because they're not synonyms, that means that you can wait on an answer from the Lord. You could be waiting on something from heaven, and you can simultaneously be preparing for what you prayed for. Is that not the case? And so like showing them that, like, but I would literally put up a picture of like a car being serviced and then a woman at Starbucks. Isn't it true this woman could be the same woman who's waiting on that car to get serviced? Like, don't just show, don't just tell, show, but for everything. Oh, my first speaking engagement, I made $100. I found the flyer of that first speaking engagement. It builds evidence in people. So when you're giving a conversion talk, what you're basically doing is you're laying out, one, the problem that they currently have. Two, the solution that you've discovered. Three, okay, in addition to the solution, you're laying out three, how you can help them with that solution. And all along the way, you're building a case for your offer. You're telling personal stories, client stories, scientific data, historical stories. I like to prove it in a couple of different ways. There are even some times where it makes sense for me to tell a scripture from the Bible. Not always, not often, but sometimes it does. You want to illustrate every concept that you're teaching. And when you're teaching them something that they can do differently, you want to actually give them something they can do right then and there. Like get them into action. Because remember, belief can be built from the feet up. It can be built from the feet up. Now check this out. I want to help you guys out because I know some of you are like, okay, this is good. I'm understanding the concept of conversion talk. I really need this conversion talk. Who could teach me how to have a conversion talk? Me? Okay, Ashley, I'm hearing you talk about conversion talks. It sounds like I need to like just get in front of a group of my ideal audience, then sell them my services. I don't know if I could do that. I'm still interested in just like organizations paying me outright. Who could teach me how to do that? Me. I could actually teach you how to do that. We have landed $25,000 talks. We have landed $45,000 talks. Single talks. Other organizations have paid us to do those talks. I want to help you to grow your business as an expert. Whether you're watching this video and you know exactly what your business is, you just want to scale it to new heights, and you're advanced, you should be at Speak Your Way to Cash Live. Or maybe you're someone watching this video and you're like, Ashley, I'm just starting out. I'm brand new. Is this for me? Yes, it is for you. Let me tell you why. There are three types of people watching this video right now. We have doubters. Doubters are people who are negative. They're literally like, none of this will work. I can't build a conversion talk. She probably didn't make $2 million anyways. All of it's a lie. Everything's a scam. No. They're just watching it to do like a reaction video that's negative. I don't think it's a lot of you, but like probably like 1%. So you have your doubters. Those folks should not come. Then you have your dabblers. Dabblers are people who get it right 50% of the time. You start a book, you may not publish it. You publish a book, you may not promote it. You start a business, you may not scale it. You scale a business, you're done scaling it. You're in and out. You're in and out. But every now and then you get it right. And you've tried other things in the past, completed them halfway, and you're wondering, like, if I go to this event, if I try something else, will it actually work for me? So then you have your dabblers. In and out. You're like, Ashley, I may come, I may not. I don't know. I'm committed, I'm not committed. I'm committed, I'm not committed. I'm committed, I'm not committed. Double-minded a little bit. You know what I mean? Dabblers. Everyone's been a dabbler at one point in their life. No big deal, because 50% of the time you get it right. Then you have your decided. These are the people who decided that 2025 was going to be their year. And now you're wondering, because it's close to the end of the year, am I getting everything out of this year that I'm supposed to get? But then you realize you're going to double down on yourself, and you're going to believe in yourself, and you're not bragging when you say your goals. You're not bragging when you say what you do, but you have decided that this is the last year that you don't get everything that this year should have given you. You've decided that yes, you're a mom, yes, you're a wife, yes, you're married, but there's still more to your destiny, to your vision, and to your business than what you've given it. You are the type of person that maybe you're the top of your game in your family. You are the one that all your friends look up to. You help everybody else. And you just want to get in a room for once where you don't have to have all the answers, because it's a community of other people who also have answers, and you have a coach who's not going to let good be your ceiling, who's going to push you. and you've decided that you've been praying for something, you've been asking for something, you've even been Googling events and wondering when you were going to find the thing that works for you. You've been looking for a coach, but no one really felt quite right. I'm not asking you to be a client in our $50,000 or $100,000 mastermind. I'm not asking you to pay me $1 million to fly to your destination and literally write your conversion talk and build out your pitch system and send out pitches on your behalf. I'm not asking you to pay $100,000 and I literally go to your event and pitch for you. I'm not asking you for any of that. I'm asking you to give me 3 days. Come to Speak Your Way to Cash Live. Use code Olympics. You'll get 30% off tickets. It's going to cost you less than $1,000 to get a general ticket. And I want you to come and I want you to, for 3 days, pretend that every dream you ever dreamt was possible. And at the end of those 3 days, I'm going to send you back home a renewed, more advanced business owner and a different CEO. The theme of this event is the Expert Olympics. And a lot of people are asking me like, Ashley, are you like an athlete? What's going on? Why you got all these NFL players speaking, Olympians speaking, people who made $150 million or more speaking? Why did you go and corral the best experts in the world to train your people at Speak Your Way to Cash Live? And why are you calling it the Expert Olympics? Here's why. Some of you have been pretending to be average and good when really you're a champion. You're a gold medalist masquerading as like someone who's not even in the arena. You've been dabbling in business when really you should have decided to dominate your industry. We are needed right now more than ever. Experts like you are needed right now more than ever. Hear my heart on this. I did not hire a 4-time world champion and pay her to come and train you on a champion's mindset so you can come to this event and go home average. I only hired the best people in the world to come and speak to you at Speak Your Way to Cash Live because there is a champion that needs to be awakened, energized, and deployed in you. And if this is speaking to you even a little bit, I know you've dealt with grief this year. I know it's been hard for you. I know you've dealt with not having enough in your business at sometimes. I know it's been hard for you. I know you've looked at payroll sometimes and you've wondered, man, why can't I just put this on an Amex or on a credit card because I don't want to take the cash out of the business. I know you've gone for loans and maybe they've told you your business isn't big enough. I know you've had other coaches and maybe they hurt your feelings. I know you've had clients who said they weren't going to pay your rates and you're wondering if your offer is good enough. No. Your offer is good enough. We're going to reposition it. Your expertise already qualifies you. We're going to awaken the giant that has been sleeping within you because you've been allowing yourself to be in environments of mediocrity. It is time for you to step into the arena of the greats. So that's why we called it the Expert Olympics, because we have called the biggest, the baddest, the best experts from around the world. We put out a clarion call for all of you to join us at Speak Your Way to Cash Live, because for 3 days, we are done going for silver. We are done going for bronze. We are only going for gold. And we are the experts who are going to change the world. And we all represent our industries well. And we all can be in our own lane and win gold. It's why we created the arena of the Expert Olympics. So come and get trained. It's in person only. You got to take a flight. People from all over the world are coming. So shout out to my UK cash leads. Shout out to my Paris cash leads. Shout out to my cash leads that are in Africa that are joining us from Ghana and Nigeria and all over the continent of Africa. Shout out to our Caribbean cash leads that are coming from Jamaica and Turks and Caicos. People from all over the world are going to be at this event. And then there's you. You haven't gotten your ticket yet, and I don't know why. I don't know why. I want you to go to www.speakyourwaytocashlive.com and get your ticket, because I ask you this, and I'm asking you this in all sincerity. If you needed to get the money to help someone that you loved and it was $50,000 and it was a life or death situation, I guarantee you would get it. We're not going to charge you $50,000 for this event, but I am going to challenge you, because the person whose life I want you to fight for is your own. There is a version of you that you have not met yet. And she or he is waiting for you on the other side of the race. And they're wondering if you're going to do everything in your power to fight for them and to meet them and to learn the very tangible, very practical, very specific skills that you need to be prepared to run the race that that person is prepared to run. You all have big dreams. We're going to take those dreams out of your backpack, off of your piece of paper, and make a plan to bring them into your reality. That is what we're doing at Speak Your Way to Cash Live. And in 3 days, we can do it. How do I know? Because it's our 9th event. It's not our first. I'm not a new business owner. I have been doing this for a long time. We're going to change your life in 3 days. And if you're open to it, it won't just change your life, it'll change a whole lot of others. I do this for experts like you. If you're gonna come, then I want you to meet me at Speak Get Ready Cash Live in October. I want to see you there. Y'all ready to change the world or not? Y'all coming or no? Let me know in the comments. Let's talk about it. I'll see y'all soon. I hope you all got some value out of this. Oh, and let me wrap it up. At Speak Get Ready Cash Live, I think it's on day 2, I'm gonna be doing a full event breaking down our formula for building conversion talk, showing you an outline of a conversion talk, really making it plain. And I'm praying to God that I can give all of you a pre-advanced copy of my book, Millions from the Stage, which really breaks it all down even better. It is a room unlike any other, and I have to tell y'all, I think this is our last Speak Get Ready Cash Live ever. I'll still do events, but it won't be this. So there is no next year. There is no more Speak Get Ready Cash Lives on the books. That's why we're going out big. It's the Expert Olympics. It's our biggest event ever. And it's just not going to be right if you're not there. So I'll see you there. For everything you sell, you need a vehicle. Sales calls. Challenge. Our event is a vehicle. It's one way you can sell an offer. You're marketing not just for sales, you're also marketing for data. In your portal, it shows you how to have a brand guide. What brand guides do is it ensures that no matter who designs your stuff, it looks the same. I help y'all land 5- and 6-figure contracts, but there comes a point in your business where you are the one giving 5- and 6-figure contracts.
You cannot afford not to come to this event.
You are missing out. There is so much energy at a place like this.
Everything has been epic. I've never been to a training where I've been engaged in literally every session.
This mastermind has truly changed my life.
My mindset has shifted.
It has allowed my business to grow tremendously.
6-figure speaking contracts.
Get in the room. This is unlike any conference that I've ever experienced, and I am a conference junkie, information junkie. I've been to all the things, but I have never been to an event like this.
If you make it from a certain spot, go back higher, go back further, shoot it again. And if you make it from that spot, then you realize, hold on, this may be too low of a rim.
The hardest thing to be in life is yourself. Why? It's because it's the noise. Too many of us are believing what other people are saying about who we should or should not be.
Yeah, energy high, excuses low. Energy high, excuses low. Energy high, excuses low. Energy high, excuses low. I need energy, need only good people that's around me. All the faith you can give, that's the recipe.